Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Another Prince George's County apartment complex is the target of a rent strike. Residents, along with members of the immigration advocacy group CASA, will be protesting outside the Woods at Hillcrest apartments in Hyattsville at 5:15 tonight. Organizers say conditions at the complex are deteriorating. Units lack heat and rents have gone up as much as $300 a month.
We're going to be there to protest them because bad maintenance, really horrible maintenance. Rent is higher, like $200 up to $300 higher. And we know this landlord around the Prince George's County they here to buy property and not provide the service to the community, and rent isn't higher and higher and higher.
Tenants at Hillcrest are joining residents at neighboring Quincy Village who announced their first rent strike in December. County lawmakers could hold a hearing on several pieces of legislation that would repeal zoning measures that passed last session. Members of the Planning, Housing, and Economic Development Committee heard testimony on a number of bills. They include CB 1723 that measures targets developments at freeway airports. The ordinance would be reimposing limits on the number of townhomes that can be constructed on the land.
Right now it's zoned for 1 to 2 single-family homes an acre. What they're trying to do is double that, triple that, 9 times that, to put 500 townhomes on those acres. So we just feel like that would not handle, the infrastructure would not handle it.
The legislation was voted unanimously out of committee. Here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed 1,460 new cases. The positivity rate continues to ease slightly. It now stands at 18.01%. 11 Marylanders have died over the past 24 hours, and 897 people are hospitalized. Maryland hospitals are nearing capacity limits. This, according to the Maryland Hospital Association. The organization says hospitals across the state have recently seen a spike in COVID-related admissions. In a statement put out over the weekend, the group says some hospitals are 90 to 100% full. Officials are asking Marylanders to only go to the hospital for life-threatening emergencies only. Residents are encouraged to seek care for less serious illnesses at their primary care provider. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Back in a moment.
When people ask us who we are, we tell them we're problem solvers, opportunity creators, community builders, and change makers. We are Rotary. Around the world, our network of 1.4 million neighbors, friends, and leaders volunteer their skills, expertise, and resources to solve issues and address community needs. We are people of action. Join us, and together, we can make an even greater impact. Find out how you can get involved at rotary.org/action.
Good evening and welcome back. A woman remains in the hospital following a house fire in College Park over the weekend. This was the scene this morning. Officials say a fire broke out at this home at the 9700 block of Wichita Avenue Saturday afternoon. Fire crews rescued one woman who was trapped inside. She was taken to a hospital with life-threatening injuries. The county's Office of Emergency Management is helping the other residents who were displaced by the fire. Officials say the cause of the incident is under investigation. And police have made an arrest in a cold case. 44-year-old Kevin Jackson, who was wanted for the murder of his girlfriend in 2021 in Camp Springs, was arrested over the weekend in Florida. Detectives say they responded to a call on December 17th in the 5000 block of Lee Court. When they arrived, they found 51-year-old Kimberly Page in the road. She was pronounced dead on the scene. Jackson was taken into custody in Orange County, Florida, and is awaiting extradition back to Maryland. Well, most of us have heard about the devastating impact of the housing market crash in 2009 and how it led to foreclosures across the nation. Now, housing experts are warning that foreclosures are once again on the rise. And Prince George's County, one of the hardest hit jurisdictions more than a decade ago, is headed down the same path.
Now we have a new issue, which I will call the post-COVID foreclosures, where people were told that they would be put into what they called a COVID forbearance. However, those terms were never in writing. Those terms, if they were non-federally backed loans, such as not Fannie, Freddie, FHA, or VA, it is basically the wild, wild west because the servicers were doing whatever they wanted.
We'll have much more on this issue in the coming month. You've done your patriotic duty and cast a mail-in ballot, but it doesn't count because you forgot to sign the envelope. That scenario happens quite often. That's why one lawmaker is proposing a law that allows voters to send their signature in multiple ways.
They can bring their, go into their Board of Elections and sign the oath there. They can sign it on a piece of paper and text it back. They can go into an online portal. They can use a fax machine. They can use, so we want to give people lots of options, unlike in some states where they are making it harder for people to vote. In Maryland, we want to make it easy for everyone who is legally allowed to cast a ballot to be able to do so and make sure it's counted.
Kagan would like the proposal to be in place before the 2024 presidential election. Rockville residents will soon be able to weigh in on whether to lower the voting age from 18 to 16 in local elections. A series of public hearings will take place in the coming weeks to consider the idea. Rockville would follow other Maryland towns that have taken and lowered the age to 16 for local elections, including Tacoma Park, which became the first city in the nation to do so 10 years ago. Hyattsville, Greenbelt, Mount Rainier, and Riverdale Park have also lowered the voting age. And still to come on CTV News tonight, your Monday sports page report. Stay with us.
Coming up, the Commanders pull off an upset in their season finale against the arch-rival Cowboys. Stay tuned.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. The trees stand tall. Mother, mother, you tell me to stay rooted. The tree's roots go deep. You tell me to focus on my breath, and the trees breathe for the earth. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? Will you be the kind that makes shade, or the kind that shows a new way? Might you be the kind to hug, or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind. The child had a few more questions after that, and the forest had plenty of answers.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. The Maryland Department of Planning has just launched a new website and handbook to provide communities and military installations with guidelines on how to grow and work together. Their creation follows a statewide joint land use study, which was paid for by a grant from the U.S. Department of Defense.
Compatible Use website and handbook that we just launched is a federally funded effort to help Maryland's military installations continue to grow and develop with the communities that surround and support them in a way that is mutually beneficial.
Additional information can be found at militarycompatibility.maryland.gov. Marijuana sales from licensed dispensaries in the state could reach $1 billion within about 2 years, according to a group that tracks and analyzes cannabis data. Cannabis Public Policy Consulting also says the demand for marijuana in Maryland is very high. The organization surveyed thousands of residents and found the state is likely among the top 15 to 25% nationally. According to the survey, Marylanders use an average of about 5 grams more monthly than other states with legal cannabis. And now for sports, we return to CTV's Simon Buggs.
A new era may have begun in Washington as Commanders quarterback Sam Howell made his NFL debut in yesterday's season finale game against the Dallas Cowboys. Howell completed 11 of his 19 passing attempts for 169 yards to go along with 1 touchdown and 1 interception in the 26-6 win. Howell became the first quarterback to have a passing touchdown as well as a rushing touchdown in a single game since Robert Griffin III back in 2012. Head coach Ron Rivera spoke on Sam Howell's performance.
The biggest thing was his anticipation, and his delivery. He anticipated pretty well. A couple times he got behind in his reads and delivered the ball a little late. But for the most part, what you really saw was how he was anticipating, he was delivering it on time and put it where it needed to be put it. He really did a nice job in terms of handling some of the play calling and stuff like that. And you could see he had the sense for when to get going quickly and when to settle in, and he did a nice job. He really did.
With the regular season concluding, the Commanders will look to the NFL draft as they have been issued the 16th pick. Moving on to college football, TCU will be going up against the University of Georgia in the national championship game tonight at 7:30. The Wizards will also be taking the court tonight as they go up against the New Orleans Pelicans at 7, and the Bowie State men's basketball team will take the court versus Fayetteville State at home at 7:30. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Now a story for wiener lovers. Oscar Myers is looking for a few good men and women for a unique job opportunity. The popular hot dog company is looking for hot doggers to drive their 27-foot Wienermobile across the country. The highly competitive job is for recent college grads, preferably with a BA in communications. Company officials say they plan to hire 12 hot doggers who can commit to working a full year driving the Wienermobile to some 20,000 miles in 20 states. The deadline to apply is January 31st. Let's turn now and get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low around 30 degrees. Tomorrow, expect a cloudy day with temperatures ranging from the low 30s to high 40s. Wednesday and Thursday will be cloudy with a chance of rain. High temperatures hovering around the 50s. Low temperatures will be around 37 degrees. And that's CTV News for tonight. I'm Taylor Thomas. Thanks for watching.
Finding life beyond Earth is no longer a dream. It's a discovery that will likely be made during our lifetime, and it will change everything. We are home to over 100 explorer scientists. Our purpose is singular: to understand the origins and prevalence of life and intelligence in the universe, so that we might lay the framework for humanity's next steps to the stars. We are the SETI Institute.